Now it is my great pleasure to welcome our next host institution, the University of Georgia. Please join me in inviting to the stage my fellow FNAI board member, my fellow, the Harbor Lights Chair at UGA and Interim CEO of NextGA, Karen Burg.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, that was meant to be a little bit more responsive. Good morning. Nice. On behalf of the University of Georgia and also on behalf of the National Academy of Inventors, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you not only to Georgia, but to Atlanta. The University of Georgia is located approximately 60 miles to the east or the northeast, really, of Atlanta. In Atlanta traffic, that can be an hour and 15 minutes, or it can be 10 hours. So pick your visit times wisely. We consider Atlanta to be a wonderful suburb of the great city of Athens. The University of Georgia is a public land-grant university, so we serve people. That is our mission. And with that, we have a well-known invention track record in particularly the areas of agriculture as well as in plant biology. However, we also have a great history and presence in the arts. And today I'm excited to introduce to you a friend of the University of Georgia, artist Jan Perkins, who in 2022 was commissioned by the University of Georgia College of Engineering to paint a series of art panels to celebrate the college's 10th year anniversary. Jan is an internationally known artist. She's had art exhibitions around the world, including locations such as here in Atlanta, but also in London, England. So she's here today. She has degrees in art therapy and art education, so we've tasked her today with educating us about the creative process in her design of the art of engineering and technology. So with that, I'll give the podium to Jan.
Creativity has been described as our ability to project ideas onto the world. It is the sharing of those ideas, conceptual thinking, and collaboration that contribute to the development of innovation and the creative process. As inventors, your skill is your platform to creativity, and the world is available to embrace your ideas, your insights and experiences into inspired opportunities. Consider flow, Dr. Ben Davis's unique experiment to visualize vortical flows that is captured on this video. In one brief moment, this beautiful display of fluid dynamics not only provides a powerful way to envision information, it emphasizes skill, process, and determination that inspired collaboration between science, art, and music. Flow is the signature painting for the art of engineering and technology. This single experiment established the color palette for all 9 paintings in the permanent collection. My conceptualization of flow balances the determinism of a scientific formula with artistic abstractions, movement, dimension, and color. Now let's get started talking about the creative process. So good morning. Good to see everyone. We all inspire each other's creativity. And really, that's why I'm quite delighted to be able to stand here today and talk to you about things that didn't exist before. It's a great thing. As inventors and creators, it's magical thinking when we believe that our thoughts and feelings can have an effect on the world. On creativity, artist Grayson Perry, who is absolutely brilliant, describes the landscape of our imaginations as being laid down in our childhoods, and that the wellspring of our mature nature and output come from a deep strata
from our earliest experiences. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. As I mentioned in my opening video, your skill is your platform to creativity. So here's mine. My nature is basically, I'm a classically trained artist. I've got a pragmatic approach to nearly everything in my life. And I love the aspects of research, and I am a consummate promotional marketer. My nature is daydreaming, visualization, planning, and the big thing here is that I absolutely need to know how the project ends before it begins. So my innate abilities and my learned skills are my creative process. I've been a promotional marketer my entire career, and I always write a plan, always. And the only one piece of advice that I would offer today as a marketer is that you cannot effectively articulate your message or your creativity unless you fully understand the strategy. On innovation and innovative techniques, if you visited my website, you'll see that there's a quote there about the innovational techniques that cause us to consider really not only how the art is created, but how we envision it, how we see it. So consider this. Just 10 years ago, when I was exhibiting art pretty much in London and at CIWI, which is a Georgia event, I was exhibiting digital art. I was painting on the computer. And it was suspect because it was digital. And now I would suggest to you that digital technology has changed absolutely every aspect of our lives. Which brings me to AI. So I would be remiss if I didn't just take one moment to talk about AI. The use of technology is a tool, as far as I'm concerned. Most artists use it. But it's the tool to move your projects ahead. So my questions to this group were, what constitutes authenticity? And can AI actually demonstrate what it is to be human? AI cannot replace spontaneous, unconstrained, original thought. And to be clear, creativity is not a method, it's a process. So onwards to the art of engineering and technology, which is why we're here. Commissioned actually in 2020 by Dean Don Leo, at UGA's College of Engineering during a 6-year renovation of a building, I should say the creation of a building, called the Driftmeyer Engineering Center. The art of engineering and technology was just a seed of an idea by Dean Leo. And in earnest, research and discovery began on my part, working with professors, students, and just kind of immersing myself into their environment and in their life and what they were doing. And Dean Leo and I set out on writing a plan, and then I created digital concept boards, which I'm going to show you in 1 second. And basically, it took 2 years for me to paint 9 panels during COVID, which, by the way, was a great research project for me, and it was also just kept me very occupied during COVID lockdown. So here are our objectives. The goal of the project was to create a permanent art collection for the Driftmeyer Engineering Center and to provide a unique opportunity to enlist students and staff participation. The other goal was to articulate through conceptual design the strategic vision of the College of Engineering as they celebrated their 10-year anniversary, and to showcase the paintings based on professorial research, student activities, and the use of technology. Key strategies for me Collaboration, absolute, between the artists, myself, obviously, professors and staff. Interconnectivity between the panels themselves. They needed to flow and feel as if they had settled in the space. Another key element was to engage the viewer with real and complex imagery and have an emotive quality, especially with a narrative dimension, and to be positioned in the hub of student activity inside the Driftmeyer Art Engineering Center. So Dean Leo and I set out to pull together some concepts, and the first 5 is phase 1. And it was important to me that the tone and manner suit the industrial environment. I created these concept boards in Photoshop, and the cartoons became a guide for my oil paintings, and the paintings themselves were painted with cold wax and oil on board, which was an extremely hard to finish surface for the environment with students and all of the activity. There were 5 boards initially, and they represent the various schools like mechanical, civil, agricultural, computer science, and robotics, and the small satellite lab. Here's a visual, sorry. There we go. Here's a visualization of what that hallway looked like. I computerized this in Photoshop to show my representation of the installation of the entire Art of Engineering collection. Then we moved on to phase 2. And these next 4 panels really represent the chemical materials and biochemical group. And shown here in phase 2 are chemical materials, biochemistry or biochemical, and bioenergy schools, which are represented here. So here's some stories behind the stories. Let me just go back this one. The actual research slides, in some cases, were used for the panels in concept development. Staff, for example, is Dr. Handa's laboratory working on developing versatile antibacterial polymer composite surfaces that can reduce bacterial infections. So you can see Dr. Hanna's slide and then my representation of his painting, which actually looks like sushi to me. And the other one is fluorescence. It's Dr. James Warnock's research on fluorescent microscopy to show inflammation of the heart valves. Sorry. The next is sort of another story behind the story, and this is a story of the Satellite Research Lab. Sometimes things do go a little sideways when you're working on a project. So what you're going to see here is the only time you'll ever see this is the F9 rocket that's painted in the first panel. Right in the middle of painting the panel, you can see that I had already put the F9 rocket in there. And by the way, that F9 rocket turned into a Northrop Grumman rocket. So I had to actually change my painting to support that. And also, the team that worked on the satellite launch had to change their venue from Cape Canaveral, Florida, to Wallops Island, Virginia, which actually did launch in October of 22. And there is actually the photograph of the, just seconds right when the launch occurred. There we go. So the Art of Engineering and Technology serves as a compelling centerpiece for the Driftmeyer Engineering Center, and it provides a creative narrative between art and engineering. It showcases the vital work of the students and the faculty at the college, and I would suggest that let's just ask them how we're doing.
I think that engineering, in its very essence, harnesses creativity, because engineering is all about problem solving. That's something that I always try to instill in my students. We need to be imaginative about how we overcome the problems that we face.
I mean, I'm reminded how artists and inventors and engineers, they create something from nothing. You know, it starts with a little bit of a seed of an idea, and they're able to draw on their experiences, their capabilities to build up something that's beautiful, functional, and really substantial.
The tools that we use are, okay, our engineering skills, our math skills, maybe some computer science. But tools alone won't help you to solve a problem. You can't build anything with just tools. How do I get from problem to solution? And I think that's totally a creative process.
When I was an undergrad here, I was also actually a music major as well. When I'd tell people like, yeah, this is the combo I'm doing, they'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you picking these two opposite ends of the spectrum? And I think that's kind of a common misconception, that there's a hard divide between, like the sides of the brain, either you're analytical or you're creative. And I'd say that the creativity, like from the music or from the art, lets you, reach into deep out-of-the-box pockets that nobody else may have thought of.
Seeing the art, as an engineering student specifically is really inspiring, because oftentimes we as engineers kind of need to channel in our creative side, which many people don't think about, but we need to do that to kind of get to creative and innovative solutions to modern problems. These works of art kind of do that for us, as they motivate us to kind of solve our problems and also give us inspiration on ways to solve them.
It was really cool to see something so vibrant in an engineering building, and especially kind of in a central hallway in the engineering building.
When I tell students, oh, one of those pieces of art that we have in Driftmark was based on my research, you can see it's almost like a light bulb comes on. And they're like, well, tell me about it. How does that play and what does it all mean?
To have this collection of artwork that encompasses a wide swath of what we do at the college, I think enables students and faculty to make connections and realize all that transpires here. And I look at the students, studying under that painting, and I just get a little excited for them, that they've got this whole career in front of them, and hope that they're going to have the same experiences with engineering that I've had.
So I just want to say that I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak with you today, because this opportunity inspired me to take the art of engineering and technology to yet another level. And for that, I thank you.